So one day, in Tamayong, a child was born. Let me get closer to you. And the child did not know that he was going to be in the center stage of what God will be doing today. Amen. So, my mother had a vision while giving birth to me in the cold nights of Tamayong, somewhere in Glory Mountain. It was not in the Purok trees, Purok Tres, or Purok number 3, where the prayer mountain is located. It was not there. It was somewhere up in Purok number 6. That was virgin forests. And there was no cemented road. When it rains, you have to walk, because even the carabao that you will be riding, we slide in the mud. I remember when I was growing up, like 4 or 5 years old, I was there. I remember vividly in my mind, one of the memories I have is I slid in the mud. I was wearing like brown short pants and a white t-shirt. And I did not like the mud that was in my clothes when I slid in the mud. I was really crying so hard because I like clean clothes. I remember that. So that is how Tamayong was before. Live with the natives. Live with the tribal natives. We call the Bagobos, Obomanobos, we call them. So, my midwife was a Bagoba. So they use a sharp bamboo skin. You know, when you skin the bamboo, there's a sharp edge. And that was what they used to cut my umbilical cord. And they buried it somewhere in Upper 6. That's why maybe the Father let me go back there, because I want to still find my umbilical cord. Praise the Father. My mother saw a vision while I was being born. And in that vision, she saw God on a cloud, and she heard a voice, and the voice told her, "That's my son." Growing up, I've heard that story over and over again, being told by my mother, asking my father what that meant. Both of them don't know what it meant. They thought it was just like an ordinary dream or a vision while I was being born. I grew up just as normal as any one of you. I had, playmates. At 6 years old, we went back to the province of Pampanga in Luzon. This is Mindanao. In the middle of these islands is the Visayas. 7,000 islands all over the Philippines. 7,100 islands. The archipelago of the Philippines is composed of that. And the biggest is Luzon, then a group of islands in the Visayas, and one contiguous land is Mindanao. And at the tip of the south, Sulu archipelago, Holo, Sulu, where you find the most of the Muslim insurgency is being done. So, my father brought his family here. There were 8 siblings when they came. And I was not yet born. So my mother and father talked. They told us, because that's how I know it, that we have to have a remembrance here in Mindanao. So they arranged that, and here I am. I am the last to be born. Actually, I am a menopausal child. You know what menopausal child is? The last child, and after that there will be no more. I'm like Isaac. You know, even if he was the only child, but he was born on over menopausal period of his mother. 99 years old. Abraham was 100 years old. So I was born in that estate. The only one born here in Mindanao, at the foothills of Mount Apo. My name should have been only Apo. Yeah. It's a good thing that at that moment we were far from the town where we can get a birth certificate. If it would have been close, or if it would have been that the birth certificate is already in the hands of my parents, my name would be Apo. Apo in our language can be like a lolo or a grandson. Apo, Apo, Apo. You know what I mean? Some of you are not smiling. Don't be serious. This is Youth Congress. So I grew up and had my first fundamental education in Pampanga up to grade 5. Before ending grade 5, my father was very impulsive. He's very impulsive among all of his brothers. He's the only one that's so impulsive. That's why he's the only one that got to Mindanao. Mindanao, then, you know, if you hear about Mindanao, it's like hearing the jungles of Africa. Are there roads there? Do the people there eat people? That is do they have store there? Even until now, you know. Some of my relatives are very ignorant. They think we have no roads here. Until now. So, even then, you know. So my father migrated here and availed of the offer of the government to offer free land. That's why Mindanao is called the land of promise. Now it's no longer the land of promise. When a son is produced here, it's the land of fulfillment. Where's that guy? Looks like Waxy. Is that me? I like that guy. I like his hair. Tom Cruise of the 1985. So I grew up normally as just a normal child, just like any child, without knowing that my life was destined. When I was living with my sister, grade 5 is what year? Like 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old. I was weaned from my parents. Remember, I'm the youngest. I'm the apple of my mother's eye. My mother would not even let a mosquito bite me or a fly. So that's how my mother loved me. If I grew up with my mother without my sister taking care of me, I would be the most spoiled child probably. And the Father knows that probably I would not be able to use this one. He is the destined one if he has no training. So he trained me at a very young age, 11 years old. That was grade 5, no? Grade 5. Grade 6 up to high school. I remember I stayed with my sister for 8 years in Parang, Cotabato. That's like, that's me. That's my brother-in-law, who is a Muslim. His name is Brahim Sulaiman. He's a Magindanaon from Parang, Cotabato. And that's my elder sister. Look, she looks like a UFC fighter. Look at her arms, so big. And I thought that as my mother loved me, she would love me the same. She did love me, but it was another kind of love. It was a very strict, disciplinary kind of love. That was them. That was me. You recognize that was me? Looks like Jesse Pangilinan. Ang buhok ba mo ng Jesse? So, I grew up in an atmosphere where in today's modern society, I could have sued my sister for child abuse. So I grew up in a very strict atmosphere with these foster parents of mine, my eldest sister. They have no child. They are childless. So I studied, and there was demand in me that I have to excel in school. So when my cards would arrive, they would look at it. If I am only number 2, I get the belt. Actually, that really was. So I was really pressured into my studies. I'm not really genius, but I'm not really stupid also, or I am like in the middle, or average or above average. So I like history, study history. That's my number 1 favorite. Social sciences, prose and poetry. What I don't like is mathematics. Calculus, trigonometry, I don't like those. I don't like, even until now, I don't understand algebra. All the problem solving. But I did well at the time, even though I didn't like the subjects. So when my card would arrive, because it was a religious school, it was Notre Dame of, first year would be Notre Dame of Cotabato, the number 1 school in that area. Oh, there are so many Notre Dame schools in Cotabato area. Davao area will be Ateneos. So they divided, these priests and brothers divided the region according to their order. So the order there in Cotabato was the OMIs, brothers, Oblates of Mary Immaculate. OMI brothers, they're very strict also. I don't know now, but then, so very strict. It was very strict at home. It was very strict at school. And I was born to be the apple of my mother's eye. I grew up like a little bit spoiled by my mother. So I had to undergo the discipline of my parents, my foster parents, my sister. There, I had learned how to wash clothes. I've learned how to iron clothes properly without any mistake. I learned how to fold clothes the right way. If it was not the right way, something will happen to your head. I learned how to cook food. I learned how to get firewood from the bark of big logs. Put them on my head, so heavy. That's why I have something on my head, on top of my head, which is very tender even until now. At a young age like that. Then I go to school. My escape was school. At home, it was like a garrison. You know what I mean? It was like a prison house where a guard is always at your back, looking at you. I learned how to wash plates properly. You know how I learned how to wash plates properly? Because I'm the only one at home that they can say, do this, do that. So I have to do everything. You know how I learned how to wash plates properly? Because of my sister. After washing the plates, I would stack them like that. And my sister would come by. And without me looking, she will look at every plate. If there is one speck of dirt, like one speck of grain of rice that's left or something stained like that, she would not tell me. It was her stick that would do the talking. So, tuk, tuk, tuk in the head. What did I do? I'm doing everything. You know. She will not talk. If you will not find your mistake after that, she will come by again and do the same thing. So you have, in split seconds, you have to see, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Then I suddenly realized I just washed the plates. I saw the plates. Oh, there's one bit of rice left. Oh my God, this is it. I wash it again. I have to wipe it in a nice, clean white cloth. There should be no water left. You smell it. Doesn't smell fish anymore. Put it back. She will do all of that. Look at it, smell it. So I learned all of that. Wash my clothes, wash all of the clothes we have. And it's not just washing of clothes. We have no washing machines. You wash it by hand. So I do. We have no Tide or Breeze. We have the Argo soap, which is a very hard, like cake soap, color brown and blue. So you can use it for 1 month. It is still like it. Di good mahilis. And the same procedure. After washing the clothes, you have to, if it's white, you have to really wash it and make it white. So I have to dry it under the sun, put like lemoncitos. Then wash it, clean it in warm water with lemoncito. Why with lemoncito? Because it smells good after that. We don't have like Downy today, where it would smell good. So we have lemoncitos only. Because after it's dried, before you iron it, she would come by again. And she would look at every nick and corner. It's good. You pass the first test of washing. The next is ironing. We don't have electric irons. We have charcoal irons with wrought iron with charcoal inside. And there is a little opening at the back. If you're not careful, the little charcoal would come out and will burn the clothes. And it would be hell for you. I'm always under that every day, 24 hours a day for 8 years. Just imagine that. When I go home, I should be home at like 5:30 because we are dismissed at 4:30. Then you have to walk 5:30. She is timing all of that. Because my only escape is school, so all my classmates, we have an opposite problem. They would like to go home early because for them school is prison and home is freedom. Me, home is prison and school is freedom. It's the reverse. So before going home, I would play basketball all alone, you know. I'm so glad. Then I go home at 6. Then my classmates would pass by the house, and my sister would be asking them, "Where is Dodong?" My nickname is Dodong. Kang Helen. They go, Kang Helen, we left him, he's still playing basketball. Then I go home alone at 6 or 6:30. No talking. The welcome is a bamboo stick. And it can hit you everywhere. On the side, it can hit you here, up to here, or when you are at your back, wherever. That is the talking. That means, why are you late? This is what you get for being late. And then the work begins. Until my sister began to prosper. From a little household, we opened up like a coffee shop because the Muslims love coffee. So we have a plantation here in Tamayong. We get our coffee here. Saan isang lagon? I fry it, I roast it until it's black. I grind it. There's no electric. Manual. Everything is manual. Then I became a waiter all of a sudden. I have to roast the coffee and then that's who I am. That's who I am. That's my nephew, Eller. That's Rosalie. That is like an Abu Sayyaf today, that guy. That's his nephew. That's one of our niece, her relative, or his relative. And that's Joy. Joy Quiboloy, that's it. That's her. They adopted her. That's my sister. Look at her arms. She's big and strong and powerful. That's the name of our store, Ingitero Cafeteria. You know what? You know what Ingitero means? It's jealousy cafeteria. Because she prospered. And all of the neighboring cafeterias lost all the customers. They are all going to us. So her store became bigger and bigger, and it became more and more of a problem to me because I'm all alone. When it was growing, I was just serving like 4 or 5 customers. It's easy. to boil coffee, to serve coffee. Now it's become bigger, more customers, like 50 to 100 already. You are the only one serving. And then, as we progressed, we took someone who will teach us how to bake. And so I am the one again to learn how to bake. So I learned how to bake pandesal, how to make American bread, how to make biscuits, how to make donuts. All of this I learned. The bagumbayan bread, I know how to do that. Don't eat bagumbayan bread before. I don't know now. Because before, the bagumbayan is made up of leftover bread. All the leftover bread, whether they are stale or fresh, we put them together. And then I put them in one big, cano-looking wood, container. Put all of that. Pour water in it. And I step on. To make it soft. So my feet are very, very clean. Then I put them together in a dough and then bake them. And then my customers would say, "Oh, how did you do this? So delicious, man." So delicious. It's all manual. You know how I do the pandesal? I make the dough. And then all the ingredients there. I have a little wooden where I mix all the ingredients like that. Salt, lard, sugar, oil, baking powder, something like that. All in measure. So I do all of this. I should be resting by the time because I just came from school. But then I have to do all of this to serve it in the morning. So to bake, you have to wait for the bread to grow. And you have to wait without sleeping because if it is overgrown, it will collapse. And you cannot use it anymore. And that will be another punishment. So, just imagine, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I do all of that. Until 3 o'clock, I'm still awake while I'm reading and studying. I get a little bit of sleep, but I cannot sleep all the way. Just a little bit. See that? That's Pastor Joe. Those are the UPC members before we have visiting. Store is getting bigger. Look at that. That's her husband. Look at her face. Even just in the picture, you get scared. Looking at you. Bless her soul. She's in heaven now. But that's her. See, no smile. No smile in the photo. Her husband still has a smile. Everyone is smiling except her. I grew up under the tutorship of my sister and her husband. So I bake all of this. I mix it. Sometimes I get so frustrated, get so angry inside. But I don't show it. What I do is to blow steam, is to get it out, is when I'm mixing the dough for the pandesal. I put my anger there. I said, I'm so tired. I mix it together. Then I will get the dough, and there was no machine to soften it. So I had to do it by hand, put a plywood, put oil on the plywood. I will get the dough and pa, 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 until it's soft. I would take off my clothes. I'm sweaty all over. I'll put the dough because when it is long like that and you hold it and it doesn't break, it's almost ready. So I put it all around my body, here. Before I cut it into pieces and put it on the baking plate. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, ready. The oven is ready. I put them. My customers are already lining. And before I bake them, they would look at them, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. They already own it because it's so delicious. So they asked me, what is your secret? Why is your pandesal bread so delicious? I said, it's a secret. It's a secret. And at 5 o'clock, I'm ready. Take a bath, ready to go to school. Only like 30 minutes of nap. Power naps. That's why sometimes I get so tired, I don't know that I sleepwalk in the evening. My sister would be the one to witness it. That's all. Because I'm so tired, my body cannot take it, but I still go on. But I did not remember of rebelling against my sister or even thinking of negatively about her. I just took it. The Father taught me long suffering. And then, besides that, when you go home and periodically you report the card, it's called the report card. And, I have nice grades, some low, some high. But the lowest is when you get failing grade, it will be in red. So, my sister would be saying, why is this red? Physics, good. Mathematics, good. History, good. Everything is good. Except GMRC. Because we have deportment. They call it deportment, not today. They grade your conduct. My conduct in school was very bad. I'm not really that bad. I'm just very naughty. A little bit naughty. I like to joke. I have a very good sense of humor. And that always gets me into trouble. So my GMRC are all red. 74, 73. So I have to invent something. My sister would say, what is GMRC? Oh, sister, I am, they recruited me as an altar boy. And it's true. I became an altar boy where we memorized Latin words and became an altar boy to priests, We have mass every once a week. All of the students who go to the church to have mass. So we go there. And I became an altar boy. And even I'll tell you later. So I would invent something that would neutralize her mind, or else I will get it, So I'm not lying, but I just have to invent something to neutralize her mind. Why is this red? That's non-elective subject, sister. You don't mind that. Yeah, what does this mean? I'm an altar boy. That means graded manual of Roman Catholics. So it's nothing. It's just religion, It's nothing. She would be okay. Because we're Protestants. And I'm the only one converted because I studied in Notre Dame. So she didn't mind it. She didn't know. If she knew it was good manners and right conduct, oh my God, I will be in the bottom of hell, maybe. So what got me into trouble is I'm always make all my classmates laugh. In Notre Dame, the girls are separate from the boys. So we have one room, 42 boys. The DND today, the SND, Secretary of National Defense, is my classmate. We're sitting together. In fact, he is the one who writes my love letters. Secret. So, sometimes while the teacher is writing on the board, there's no computer, nothing of that. Everything is written on the blackboard. While he's writing, you have to take note and copy everything that is written. So we are all copying like that. What I would do is make a paper plane and let it fly, send it to my classmate who is sitting in front. So the paper plane sometimes get misguided. Instead of going to my classmate, it goes to the teacher. Tug. And my teacher said, "Who did this?" We are all conniving with each other. We are all one big gang. No one is talking. Who did this? Because he's Ilonggo, Who did this? He's from Capiz. He's very strict. Who did this? Nobody's talking. Until he got his watch and banged it on the floor because he got so mad. So we had to be called, the principal was to be called. No one talked. All of you come out of the room. 12 o'clock. You don't eat, you don't go home. You work under the sun because of me. So everybody was there. Nobody was blaming me. We are all laughing, things like that. Very naughty. I go home, there is the work. I had to do it perfectly anytime I'm home. So I was honed in that kind of an atmosphere. I did not grow like any spoiled brat child. I grew up knowing how to work. The Father taught me that. Now I know it. Why He put me into that atmosphere and situation. Praise the Father. And then once a week, we go to Mass. It's a requirement. So we are the altar boys. My classmates and I and 4 of us sometimes will be the one to assist the priest in a low Mass, a high Mass. Low Mass, there are 3 candles. High Mass, it's 8 candles. We are the ones to light the off. And then get the imported wine. Because as they perform the Mass, the priest would get the body of Christ and then put the blood. We are the ones to put the blood, which is the wine. And when you put it on the cup, it should be like this only. Because it's only a symbol. What we do, altar boys, because we are so naughty, we will fill the cup. And in the Catholic religion, you don't waste even 1 drop of that because that is the blood of Jesus Christ. No single drop will be wasted. That's why they wipe it after that. Even the host, they wipe it, and So we pull it. The priest would be signaling us to stop. But we... And he has to drink the blood 3 times. And after the 3rd time, the mass is finished, we have to carry the priest. He's doing like this. Then we lay him in the convent in the bed. He's fast asleep. We go to the kitchen. We go to the refrigerator. Everything he has there is imported from Ireland. The cheese, the candies. We feast on those. And after that, the priest would find out it would be on our GMRC again. So that's how I got the red failing grades of GMRC. But at home, I have to be excellent in GMRC. So that is where I knew perfectly how to bake bread, how to make everything good, excellent. He taught me that. I didn't know that today one of the pillars of kingdom revolution is the revolution of excellence, where you have to do everything according to the will of the Father. So my frustration sometimes got in me that I would find myself looking at the ocean, because our house is beside the sea. I'd be looking at the ocean while waiting for the bread to grow and ready to be baked. I'd find myself looking beyond the ocean and I'm crying because of stress. So tired. Everything must be done by you. And they didn't understand that you get tired also. They thought I was a robot that don't get tired. I do. But at those extremes, I found one thing that God has taught me through my sister. It is to be excellent in everything that you do. And my sister was instrumental for that. Then after that, I had plans to have 4 degrees in life until I was 34 years old, as I told you. Did not happen. I found myself in Bible Institute through the orchestration of the Father Almighty. There, we also had this experience. I also had this experience because in this Bible Institute of the Pentecostal denomination where we were converted, and I had availed of that, said 1 year is nothing. He said, we just study for 1 year and that will be it. It's free. I availed of that. I did not know that that was the Father's way already for me to be there. It was the beginning of the training of my spiritual calling. So I was there. And they had to cramp 3 to 4 years of Bible college subjects into 1 year. In order to do that, we have to be at school 7 to 11:30, 1 to 5, 6 to 11 every day. Just imagine, you almost memorize the Bible. And it is subjects coming from the U.S. in their school there. Those, they study for 3 years or 4 years. We studied only in 1 year. So many of my classmates got seizures. Their brain cannot take it. They have to drop out. Some of them got sick. Some of them got epileptic seizures because the brain cannot take it. But it was a pressure of study that I like so much because I was used to it. And besides that, we have no like where you duplicate all the we have mimeograph machines. So you have to type it on a stencil, and then you roll it. So my teacher, my mentor, I am the mimeograph man. So I'm the one who mimeographed all the test questions. Then I get the carbon copy of the stencil and I look at it. But even without looking at it, I already know the answer. That's more, I know the questions already. So then I throw it and then I answer all the questions. It's 1 to 100 items, like for example, doctrine class. You have to state the verse. It's like, what do you call it? Quotations. Quote Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. Exactly. With period, with comma, with everything that is there. If it is all words and there's no punctuations that you saw, it's still wrong. That's how rigid it was. So it's 100 items. You have to answer exactly like that. My mind was honed for that, to see every detail of everything that I do. So this denomination was used that way. Praise the Father. After that, I was designated as the evangelist of that denomination. And the Father filled me up with His spirit of training me in a way I can convey the message to all the people, exactly like a painter would paint a picture and you would see it vividly and you would appreciate it. So the Father taught me that. So I went around. After 1 year, I was designated as an evangelist, going around for 4 years until I went to Korea. In those 4 years, that was 1970 to 1974, 1973, between there. You know what happened, my brothers and sisters? I walked these roads, mountains, towns, cities, riding boats, bangkas, bicycles, tricycles, trucks, logging trucks, because I had a schedule from January to December. I had to go from one place to another. I am already scheduled. And you know, in 1970s, the Philippines is not like what you see today. This is the modern Philippines. Then, it was the backward Philippines. These roads here, Davao to Butuan, to Cagayan, it is not possible when it rains. You have to stay on the road for like a week before the truck can go through. Because it's all mud. There's no concreting of roads as we see today. The concrete roads are just in the cities and just few. So I had to walk. When I had a schedule to the mountain, I had to walk to that mountain. Like for example in Capiz, they have a place they call Bulan-Bulan. You know what Bulan-Bulan means in dialect? It's called moon-moon. Bulan in dialect is moon. Why is it called moon or bulan? Because it is very close to the moon. So we landed on the city. We have to ride a bangka to the place. Bangka is a small wooden boat. And then you have to go up from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And you reach that place at like 5 in the morning by walking. And when you go to that place, to the peak, your knee and your shin would meet when you are climbing. That is how high it is. That's why sometimes I cannot take it physically anymore. I had to lie down on the ground for a few minutes. Like 30 minutes I would sleep to regain my strength. 4 years of that. Go from place to place. Face the threats of people. The Samal, where we had the Q-Sans right now, I walked that for 1 week. Peña Plata, Samal, Babak. I walk around just witnessing to people until my shoes, which are my only shoes, broke up. I had to tie them with a rope, little rope. And I had only one pair of pants. Isa lang pares ang pantalon ko. Manipis na masyado yung puwet. That's why when I talk to someone, when we part ways, I had to do this. Bye-bye. I cannot turn around because the threadbare seat of my pants, you can see through. I only had one brief underwear. And because I was walking every day, I didn't have the time to wash it. Monday it's side A, Tuesday it's side B. Side C, next day. For 4 years, every day, it was like that. But the Father gave me the Spirit already inside of me that I cannot contain, that even if I am in the bathroom, I had to blurt it out. I was so full inside. It was like water gushing inside. I have to take it out. They thought I was getting crazy because the mouth would just, if I would keep it, my mouth would be like full of water. I have to say it. So I was preaching even on the bathroom. I go to the coffee in Tamayong. I would face the coffee, ask if I am preaching to all of the people and they are coffee. I have to get it out. The Father filled me with that kind of a spirit. So I had to preach 7 times a day. Don't let me eat, just let me preach. Not let me just fellowship with people. And it is the satisfaction of my soul and my heart in those moments of time. I don't care about walking. I don't care about eating. I don't care about... And I was very, very strict like my sister. My sister's strictness transferred to me. In my denominational days when I was an evangelist, you cannot just talk to me like that. When they hear I am going to this place, I will preach there, all of the young people would gather there. They would run because they idolize me. And the girls would be sitting in front. They'll be following me everywhere. And they want my attention. I give them my attention. I would tell this girl, why is your skirt so short? What is the meaning of that? Did you not have enough money to buy fabric so that you could have a long skirt? down your knee, and the girl would. I walk around, ride, no airplane, no nothing. Just ride or walk, ride a horse. General Santos City, the mountains there, I went there. Digos, Kapatagan, I went there, to the highest peak there. In Cotabato City, in Pagadian, Zamboanga, while the MNLF uprising of the Muslim waging war against the government was at its peak, I was walking around as an evangelist. We nearly got ambushed. My brothers did not wake up, so we didn't take the first trip. I was mad at them. We took the second trip. Going to that way, we saw the first trip, got ambushed. All of the passengers are dead. I can even see what they ate. Still smoking. Still hot. I look at my two brothers, I almost kissed them. It was the Father protecting us. I went all around all those places. Hardships. Sacrifices. One pair of shoes that are bare already and clothes that are threadbare already. I didn't mind that. It was in my heart. I loved to do the Father's will even then. And I did not yet know that I had a life that is destined to become the appointed son. All of these sacrifices were a spice in my life until I was sent to Korea. When my denomination sent me to Korea, I did not have a pair of suit or a suit. So I had to borrow from an old friend or someone who had one. So the suit I borrowed was not mine. It was kind of long, and it did not match my pants. My shirt was yellow. My suit was like striped blue, something like that. My pants was kind of like what the golfers use. Can you show that? That was one of my shirt. Yellow, and I had a suit. This was in Hong Kong in 1972. That is how Hong Kong looked like. We had to attend a 1 million man meeting. I got lost. I prayed, and I found my bus waiting. But I had to run to and fro for 1 hour in the midst of 1 million people. I cannot find my group. So I was sweating all around until I prayed. I kneeled down, actually. Father, I'm in the midst of 1 million people. Please show me the way. And when I opened my eyes, direct in front of me was a road, and these are people. There was an aisle. And then I ran to that aisle, and at the end of it were the bus waiting, our buses. My group, 13 of our groups, were already waiting for me. And I'm the only ones that they were waiting for. So when I got off the bus, I was sweating and everything. My Wi-Fi got stronger. The signal was emitting because I cannot afford to have deodorant. It's good for you. You have deodorant. Then I don't even have tawas. So everybody, when I got to the bus, they all clapped their hands. Ah! I'm the only one you're waiting for. Sacrifice. Amen. I had all of those. strict upbringing, discipline. I did not resent that. It is all part of the destiny that I was going to be the Father's appointed son. Until at the end of 2 weeks, I heard the voice of the Father. And He told me, I will use you. Now I know why my mother heard the voice of the Father when He said, that's my son. I did not even know why He will use me. And I said, you're using me already as in 1 year. Why will you still use me? So 1 year in Kitbog, I knew all of that. 6 years in Tamayong, that was the hardest. That was a baptism of fire. By the way, we have recovered all the lands in Kitbog for the kingdom. In the Revelation, Kitbog is going to be a great city, isn't it? So, wow, that's beautiful terrain. It's like when I went to Israel, I see the terrain, the Judean hills. When I was there, this was full of trees. Now there's no more trees there. It was forest. And now we will replant all the trees that they cut off from the place. It's the Father. All of these years, all I ate was like rice, bangi. The bottom of the rice, you know, when you cook rice, the bottom part is the tutong, is the hard part. That is what I like. I just pour coffee and I eat, and that's all. Like you people who eat noodles and all you eat is noodles. Me, all I eat is tutong and coffee. And then I can preach all day if you want. I can sacrifice. I don't care about clothes. I don't care about the amenities of life. All I care about is where will I go next to share and preach to the people. Woo! Hallelujah. So finally, I was in Tamayon. For 5 years, the Father poured out unto me all the revelations of man of revelations that I am sharing to all the world today. And I am so glad to be standing before you today. Young people of the kingdom, I am your model. In times of your fire, in times of the baptism of water, it's happiness. Isn't it? There's party, there's a lot of food, there's a lot of singing, there's a lot of garlands on your neck, there's a lot of welcoming, there's a lot of singing, there's like honeymoon period. Then after the honeymoon is the reality period. It is the baptism of your fire in the form of persecution, isolation, maligning of people, anything that will tend to weaken and pour cold water on your dedication or commitment to serve the Father is a fire. I was there for 5 years to test and try me. That is when I can look up and I can thank the Father and I can say, oh, thank you, my sister Helen. You taught me how to be in the fire because you have been my fire for 8 years. And I was able to overcome you. Now, He put me into another fire, probably the ultimate fire in my life before I can become a bona fide, appointed son of the Father that will represent Him into all the world. And The Father's terms and conditions was not, you do not complain. You do not murmur. You have to only obey. And it's not only obedience, it is absolute obedience. When it says absolute obedience, I don't have to wake you up in the morning. When I say 4 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock. Wake yourself in the morning. Nobody will wake you. So I have to train myself that. That's why I have to train my spirit, my mind, to follow is my body. The body and the mind are connected, but they are, in other ways, disconnected. Because sometimes your mind will tell your body, and your body will not follow. So that's why there's a phrase in the scripture that says, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The spirit is willing to pray, but the body says, no, you have to sleep. You're tired. I have to learn how to submit my body to the urgings of my spirit. So when the Father says, do this, whether my flesh finds it hard or easy, I will follow it. Your flesh will only tell you, follow that which is easy, but that which is hard, do not follow that. You are still a God to yourself when you do that. You are still the boss. When you follow the Father, you're not the boss anymore. Amen. He becomes your boss. Yes. Hallelujah.